Hello, everyone. Blue Star Saber here, once again to discuss My Hero Academia with Luckychi 7.
I'm sorry. We're live now.
Yes, we're live now, and if anyone's wondering what's going on, it's because I forgot to add Luckychi straight away to the stream as I was talking to myself on Twitter.
Also, I'm in the middle of having some blueberries, so there you go.
But yes, so yeah. Immediately after talking about One Piece on Mitzi by myself, I am now here with Luckychi to discuss My Hero Academia because, well, this is the only day we can plan that out. See, before we have to get we're playing something else on Wednesday, but I'm not going to say what it is. Not to mention, I got a few episodes of My Hero Academia to catch up in the following few days. But yeah,
can we say One Piece will get to chapter 2000? It's possible.
Probably not. I don't think it's going to happen. But
Would you imagine though? 2000 chapters.
Well, let's see. We'd probably be full on adults by then. Not to mention that I'm pretty certain the story is nearly close to an end. But yeah, at least after this saga. But yeah,
yeah, for sure.
Besides, I don't think most of its fans could last that long waiting for that long for One Piece to reach its conclusion.
Okay, realistically speaking, I'd give it 1,200 chapters. Give it.
Yeah, but anyway, let's see. To My Hero Academia, chapter 115, Platitudes. I know my
115. Did you just say 115?
Okay,
I'm pretty sure it's 315.
My mistake. 315 Platitudes, and yes, I know the title is like a true hero or something like that, but you're going to see what I'm implying for that once we get to that bit. Anyway, so we cut back to a flashback of Overall talking about how he knows Midoriya, about he's the one who has foiled his plans, and it's got like the real case of the hero syndrome. Let's see, with Lady Nugget commenting about how she was hoping he'd be useful, but this must be something like fate, given the fact that these two are going to be interacting again. Though one could just say it's plot convenience, but who knows? Whether or not you believe it's fate or not, that depends on the person, I guess. So anyway, she offers him to tag along, and I do the target for her. But he has one condition. And she seems to assume it's a revenge, as there's no intention of that, but he doesn't really care about that. Now he's lost everything. He just wants to see his boss and apologize to him and all that stuff. And we see Lady Naga going into a sort of monstrous sniper rifle, aiming at Overhaul, with him shouting he held out his end of the deal, so telling him to take him to the boss, though. You should realize that when they are in the middle of a fight right now.
I mean, we did knew that Shigaraki did kind of scar Overhaul, but
yeah,
now the extent that we're seeing right now is crazy.
So yeah, it's probably worse than we thought. Yeah. Let's see. Apparently, let's see, Lady Naga comments about the risks of her muscle-powered firearm jamming and all that stuff, but she comments about how Midoriya's hero education has taught you to, has taught him, if anything, that no matter what, who the victim is, let's see, they can't fail the screwing up and getting someone killed.
That's true.
So she fires the bullet right at Overhaul. Let's see. Thinking about this tough decision that Midoriya has to make will probably put him off balance and all that stuff. However, we see Midoriya completely not even hesitating as he uses his Black Quirk to swing Ritzy, using the Quirk and along with the Quirk Fargin, as we finally get a proper explanation of what this Quirk does, with repeated movements build up motion-based energy for temporary storage and release.
Essentially reflexes, and I don't know about you, Blue, but when I saw that panel shot, I was like, okay, I know Koei's a fan of Spider-Man, but if that's not a Spider-Man-ish reference right there, I don't know what it's.
Now that I'm looking at it, yeah, it does look like a Spider-Man swing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, seems like let's see, it's last chapter, we're just assuming that, let's see, it seems like last few chapters, we're just assuming that, let's see, Koei was just doing some, let's see, his own, like, continent, well, Asia and all that stuff, well, granted Chinese, really, but, well, let's see, Farjin is a Chinese martial art, so that's why I'm saying Asia, or, Eastern sort of powers or mythology things into his thing, but it seems like he's still finding a way of making it into a Spider-Man reference. Let's see.
And wait, how many quirks are we missing now? It's just one, right?
Yeah, the second user's quirk. So yeah.
I'm trying to think. Let me think, because we have Danger Sense, we got Black Whip, we got Fodge, and what was the other one that Deku had?
Smokescreen.
Smokescreen.
Float.
Okay, Spider-Man can't really fly, so I can't really count that one.
No, that's pretty much the only one that could be related to Superman.
Yeah. So there has to be one more.
Now, if it's going to be another Spider-Man quirk, I do not know, or Spider-Man related power. At this point, he seems to have used up all the things you can. The Spidey Whip.
I was going to say maybe. I was going to say maybe stick to walls, but I don't know if that one's going to actually be a thing.
Yeah, I think that'd be too much of a stretch at this point. So, yeah, I mean, let's see. Granted, I could be wrong, but who knows? And the person might have some, and the second user might have some sort of stick-like quirk abilities. I do not know.
I mean, we do know that the quirks aren't necessarily like super powerful quirks, so they're not.
But I'm assuming that's probably going to be something else. But yeah, but I suppose leave it to Koei to find a way of, let's see, I guess mixing an Eastern martial art and somehow making it into a Spider-Man reference. But yeah. So anyway, while he's getting shot at, let's see, reveals that Midoriya flexed and extended his legs to protect himself and store more energy, plus with one for 45%, plus configure dual force. Everyone in my generation can picture it. The sight of All Might moving faster than a speeding bullet. So, okay, it seems that, let's see, it seems that Koei is mixing Spider-Man and the Superman saying us faster than a speeding bullet. As Midoriya uses Fox 100% to push Overhaul out of the way just as the bullet gets in time, with Naga comment about how she managed to catch up to a shot, and it was already shifting trajectory, aiming for the firing. So she starts to just realize just how skilled Midoriya is with his usage of quirks. Anyway, let's see, Overhaul saved and all that stuff. He tells him that we'll talk later, though granted he says, but his actual name, Shisasuke, but I just like calling him Overhaul. So yeah.
And we see Deku pulling out a Spider-Man move.
Yeah. Really, let's see, the Black Whip really is Spider-Man webbing and all that stuff.
No, if you ask me, now that I think more about it, the Black Whip reminds me of like when Peter had the symbiote. That's what it really reminds me of.
Well, I suppose that's the closest reference that you can do with it. I mean, it's not like you can actually do the actual spider webbing, because...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because as far as I know, that might cause Marvel to do some copyright claims or something.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to the black suit, he didn't even have to do his usual trademark. He just had to, just put his arm in a certain direction, and then the web just come out.
Anyway, we get the third user going talking about how using All for One at 45%, Danger Sense at Smokescreen, and Black Whip, Fudging, and Float, and switch them on and off rapid rate. No, actually, it's perhaps maybe Midoriya is thinking this. Oh no, that's my mistake. It's Midoriya saying about how he's used all these quirks. Let's see, and about how much it was always a process to you, how much it was too much to process all at once. Though having learned that lesson a second ago, he has now narrowed it down to using just all for one, one for all, and one for all, Blackwood and Farjin at the moment. So he's just saying instead of using I believe 5 quirks at once, he's using 4 quirks. I think he's using 3 quirks, which is okay. That's fair.
Yeah, and he's kind of like switching them on and off, which I'm like, all right.
Like using 6 to now using 3. So yeah, Go on.
No, I was just saying that like he's like just it's like turning on a light switch. He's like turning one off and then turning the other one on, like instantaneously.
Yeah, so he's limiting on what he can actually use at the moment, which is clever and all that stuff. So yeah, as Midoriya's just sissy. Anyway, as he's getting closer to like Lady Naga, let's see, he's just got 1 left worth of Farjin store up and uses it to use a Fox 100% Manchester Smash. Let's see. I gotta ask, Luckychi, do you have a city called Manchester in the US? Luckychi, you there?
I want to say yes. It's not in Texas though. It's elsewhere.
Okay, because I'm wondering because I know that all Might and Midoriya's moves are based off American cities, but the name Manchester makes me think of Manchester City, Manchester in the UK, up north. Which, for those who don't know, Manchester is regarded as like the north version of London.
It's in New Hampshire. I'll say that.
Okay, so there's a name called. So there's a city. So there's a city in US that's named after our Manchester. I'm surprised you didn't call it New Manchester, but yeah. But I'm pretty certain a British person might mistaken this attack move as a UK reference. So yeah, Midoriya ends up attacking her with the Manchester Smash, damaging her gun arm and striking at the head. It's with him commenting that her gun barrel is busted and how it's over. Let's see, with her thinking that not a hint of his attention. Let's see, he was able to recognize thinking about how he was able to recognize his enemy and still leaped into action as it was the natural thing to do. With her now, let's see, as she's falling, she's starting to wonder, when was it that, thinking of the words of, I think what that Hero Commission manager said, that right arm of yours will make our society a better place. She's just wondering, when did the platitudes start making her want to puke, all the corruption and that stuff. As let's see, she's falling with her damaged arm, with her arm being damaged. Let's see, with her sniper arm turning back to a normal damaged arm. Midoriya grabs her, with him commenting on about how the shot hit her chair. Let's see, the overhaul was off by a little bit. With her comments about, let's see, even though she claims to be, let's see, working with like all for one, let's see, and his brand of evil. Let's see, her very first shot about him should have hit his lower body and stopped him cold. Let's see, in comments, despite how she knows real darkness, she also knows that there's a pretty bright light to go way to bring a bright light. So he's trying to comment, and despite the fact that she's claiming to be like a villain now, she still has like the heart of a. She still has like the heart of a hero, and that if she still has that, she can still fight alongside them and all that stuff to make society a better place. We'll see. As she starts to think about it, she ends up thinking about what a guy Midoriya is, and tries to say how he's the real deal, a true hero and that stuff. But just as she's saying it, she starts to she starts to flash up a bit, and it's revealed that all for one, put a contingency in the quirk he gave her, saying that given how his feeling that her soul might be a bit too fickle, or how she could be easily persuaded.
Yeah.
She added like a fail safe to it, so in case her heart had swayed, and she ends up exploding with Midoriya crying out her name. With Overall just comments about how she was just a tool to be used to the very end, saying that she should just curse her blessed quirk. Let's see, and as she comments about how helpless Lady Naga is, Lady Naga is as she falls to her doom, with Midoriya screaming. However, Hawks arrives just in time, saying not to die on her, and the chapter ends with Hawks saving her, and let's see, with Lady Naga in a very burnt up, position, with her fate, unknown at this point. So, what a chapter, if you must say, Luckychi.
Yeah. Okay, I'll say this. It was a crazy chapter, to say the least, for all the right reasons. Yeah. Part of me feels like, did this happen too soon? That's the one lingering question that kept coming in the back of my mind as soon as I finished. I was like, okay, this makes sense, but isn't this a little too soon?
Let's see. From my understanding, the fight started in chapter. Chapter started, I suppose, if you want, at the end of 111, and
not necessarily the fight itself. I'm talking about with Lady Nagan as a whole. I'm just thinking, isn't the transition a little quick?
I have to admit, I will admit, I suppose it's a bit of a surprise given how we just learned her entire backstory, how she lost her ideals and all that stuff, and what she was framed for and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think we were all just assuming that we'd probably at least get 2 more chapters, but it seems like. But then again, as we know, My Hero Academia is usually known for its fast pacing.
I don't know. It's not the fact that the fight was fast. I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying, technically speaking, we got introduced to her at the end of the Paranormal Liberation arc, but
yeah,
I'm kind of just thinking, wouldn't this have made sense to have been carried over into, say, the next couple arcs, and then we get the conversion? That's the thought that crossed my mind.
I guess, but we'll get more into this. I guess, but then again, I guess it depends on whether or not we're gonna get. Let's see if Corey had. Let's see how much Corey wanted to use with this character now. It looked like she was going to be just an arc, but it seems like she's going to be just a one arc villain kind of thing. But which is fine as that. I mean, granted, we got many other villains appearing, all that stuff now, but
yeah,
so it's nice. But yeah, I suppose it's possible that, but granted, I suppose this was the inevitable outcome of this fight. Granted, I was expecting at least one more chapter of just Midoriya trying to save Overhaul and all that stuff. But speaking of him, I do like how we see how just broken down Overhaul was after
I thought that was cool.
From Shigaraki and Midoriya beating him and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's clear that he doesn't really care about being a villain anymore. He just wants to see his boss, like his father figure, kind of thing like that.
Definitely.
You see. Now, whether or not he's actually going to do it at the end, because I think Midoriya is going to talk to him. So, who knows? We'll find out. Let's see. Midoriya might be nice enough to send Overhaul to meet with the boss, though. We have to wait and see whether or not Corey has anything more planned with Overhaul and just Lady Nugget bait for Midoriya and all that stuff, or it's just him. I want to see the boss. I want to see the boss. I want to see the boss. But who knows? We might end up seeing that. But yeah, I do like Lady Nugget's strategy of saying have Midoriya hesitate to try and try and get Midoriya to hesitate and try to go after her or saving a villain kind of thing.
Yeah.
Given the fact that, Midoriya is a hero, but as we've seen, Midoriya is a hero and he won't even hesitate to save anyone, even if it's a former enemy. So yeah. Midoriya is just the real deal kind of hero. Pretty much what All Might expected, and what Stain saw in him and all that stuff. From that encounters, he doesn't even hesitate, despite knowing who Overall is. Goes and saves him, and I quite like. Now, I must admit, I'm a bit surprised at how many. I'm a bit surprised I didn't notice the Spidey reference, but at first, but yeah, I really liked how the third uses Quirk and the Black Whip. Jay Farn, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Jay Farn. I really liked how Midoriya was able to use them both to make him move a bit more like Spider-Man. Has Corey commented that Midoriya is basically Spider-Man at one point or not?
I don't know. All I know is that he said in an interview that one of his favorite superhero characters was Spider-Man. So I was like thinking, already.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if in an interview he comes out and says, "Yeah, I just kind of brought in the 6 quirks because I wanted Deku to feel more like Spider-Man." I'm like, well, I can't complain too much about that.
Yeah. Granted, the only thing I'd say was probably difference between Midoriya and Spider-Man is that Midoriya is probably a bit stronger than Spider-Man, and the fact that he can fly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So yeah. But as we've probably seen, most shonen protagonists end up having the ability to learn how to fly at some point. Oh well. Except maybe Luffy. Okay, granted, though, actually, Luffy could probably also fly with his gear.
I would say that, and I would have said Aaron also. Actually, yeah, no, Aaron didn't fly either. About it.
No, I'm not really counting Aaron as a shonen protagonist, really.
Well, that's all. That'll lead into a whole nother discussion.
But yeah, but it does seem that shonen protagonists do seem to end up learning how to fly at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a discussion for another day. So yeah. Anyway, let's see. Now, I must admit, going back to Lady Naga, I was a bit surprised she went from revealing her backstory being deluded. It seems that she was being finally starting to be swayed by Midoriya's heroic nature, with his skill of not only using his quirks to quickly rush in to save Overhaul, but how he didn't even hesitate and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then quickly he goes back to defeat her with the Manchester Smash thing, which I quite like that move. And I do like how Midoriya's combining the quirks and all that stuff. Instead of using all 6 at one time, he's using all 3. Just using half of them at the moment. Now, granted, I assume that at some point Midoriya might be able to use all of them at once, though that's probably when he fully gets to properly 100%. Not this Fox 100% thing, which I assume is some sort of fake 100% thing. So yeah. But let's see. But to further, Lady Naga about how Midoriya doesn't hesitate. Let's see, just as she's falling to her doom, or all that stuff, Midoriya grabs her hand, showing that even saving her despite the fact that they were just fighting a second ago. And it seems like Midoriya understands what Lady Naga has gone through and all that stuff, and the problems of Heal Society. But he comments but he's had the feeling that despite how deluded she is, deep down she still wants to be a sort of hero kind of thing. Given how she seemed to have been a bit off in shooting Overhaul, implying that she wasn't actually trying to hit Overhaul despite the threat she was doing, and the fact that she could have easily shot him sooner, but she ended up intentionally missing him or something like that at the beginning of their fight, and saying that she still has it in her to be a hero. To join, and tries to convince her to join forces with him. And it seems like just as Midoriya is finally able to convince a bad guy to change their ways, and she starts thinking about her wanting to be a hero and that stuff, and thinking that Midoriya is the real deal, and just about to comment it. Overall, all for one, being the evil bad guy that he is, isn't allowing. Oh no! I give you a quirk. I'm not having you turn on me, so I'm using my failsafe accuracy time bomb to blow you up and possibly Midoriya as well. Attempt to possibly also kill Midoriya as well. And it looks like let's see, as Lady Nanga explodes. It looks like she's falling to her death, but we finally get to see Hawks arrive and save her. So yeah. So do you think Lady Naga is dead, Luckychi?
That's the question I was going to ask you. Do you think that? Because I know as far as the fandom goes, and I've been, it was like, since 306, I've been, which I haven't done in a super long time, is like keep tabs on how everyone's feeling about the chapters and whatnot. So it's kind of split. Some people think she's going to kick the bucket, and some people are thinking that, well, given how the chapter ended and you have Hawks like catching her, it's possible that, you know, she's alive. I'm going to say, if I have to play a percentage game on her living or her dying, I'd say maybe 55% chance she's alive.
Okay.
45% chance she's not alive. That's my guess.
Okay.
What would you say?
For me, I'm assuming that she's currently alive, but she could die of the runes, but not before admitting to Midoriya that he was right all along and all that stuff, and tells him to, like, you know, fix the society and all that stuff. Granted, she could be in such a, bad state of, granted, she could also be alive, but in such a bad state of, states, and she's practically burnt up from the explosion, that she probably won't appear until, like, the final battle kind of thing. To finally come and aid Midoriya and all that stuff, but I could be wrong, but yeah.
I mean, it could be a scenario where she's in recovery for whatever we have left of the story, and then, you know, like you say, like, we see her, like, from time to time throughout the final saga, and then, let's say, as you say, you know, she comes in and joins. Could be that.
Yeah. But yeah. But I have to admit, there's a sort of tragic thing if she does die, and I kind of like it. It's like Midoriya's finally able to reach to one of, like, a villain or sorts, finally be able to understand and even try and persuade them a bit to possibly change their ways. And it looks like she was pretty much, granted, she was a fallen hero, so
yeah, and
so she always had that heroics inside her. Go on.
No, and like I said, all of that makes sense. I'm just thinking narratively, since we just got introduced to her, is it not too quickly to do all this within the first arc of, okay, technically first arc of us meeting her? And that's where I'm stuck on. I'm just like, see, okay, like, storytelling wise, this makes sense, but in terms of pacing, I'm just like, isn't this kind of too quick?
It's possible to that narratively that Midoriya, or at least both narratively and storytelling wise, is that Koei's having Midoriya actually try and reach someone, but you're having All For One take that away before he can actually properly do it and that stuff, you know. Midoriya finally seems to have someone be able to save someone from villainy, but All For One is still going to take that person away from him and all that stuff, and take a life.
Yeah.
But yeah, All For One, but yeah. But this does go to show something very interesting about All For One's quirk that we did not necessarily know about, is that he can give people, like, an extra quirk. It seems like he also has the ability to make them, you know, self-destruct if they turn on him. So in a sense,
here's the thing though. I would actually kind of expect that, though, from someone like All For One. I'm thinking, on one hand, though, that actually does make sense.
Yeah. I guess it goes to show that even when he gives, it's never out of the goodness of his heart and all that stuff. That,
at least not completely.
If he gives you a quirk, it means you are guaranteed to have 100% loyalty to him and all that stuff. And if you turn on him, he will kill you.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So even when he gives, he takes, as you will. You're pretty much bound to serve him, as you will. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, but Overone is probably let's see. But as we expected, Overone is definitely being one of the best. Let's see, shonen villains in modern day for a very long time.
And depending on what side of the My Hero fandom you're on, you're either really liking what he's doing or you're kind of screaming out at the top of your lungs because of what he did to Lady Nagin.
Yeah. I suppose I can understand why some might be upset if Lady Naga does bite the bucket, because finally we've gotten a female villain that's just that, even though for a short time, seems to be just as developed as, you know, Toya. Was it Toga?
Here's the thing, though. Someone pointed this out. Wouldn't that just be like what's what happened to Curious? And I'm thinking, you know, technically, yeah, it kind of would be the same thing. Technically.
On one hand, yeah, though. As far as looking at the hinds of things, Witsy, we know that at least it's not like with the whole Meta Liberation Army later becoming part of the League of Villains kind of thing, I guess.
True.
Lady Naga was like a free agent kind of thing, assassin. So it's like that. So, granted, I understand why some people might be a bit upset if she bites the dust a bit soon, because it's like we just got added to these new villains, and it seems like they're being taken down quickly again. Now, remember, there are at least 10,000 escaped convicts from Tartarus and other prisons.
Yeah.
So we'll probably see a lot more bad guys, some that we probably didn't even see in the prison break coming up soon. I mean, let's see. Koei can create as many villains as he wants with the world of Mecha Edimir. In some ways, he's got a lot more leverage to do that than, say, most other shonen mangas who, by this point of their respective series, seem to take out so many bad guys that they don't know how to replace them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There's always the benefits of having like a comic book superhero-based manga. Always getting new villains.
True.
But, yeah. So, yeah. Let's see, what else is there to comment on? Oh, yeah, Hawk's arriving.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I assume that, let's see, there's probably one case to say that Lady Nanga might end up at least surviving for a while, at least, at the very least, is the fact that Hawks, the only other, like, kid that was brought in to be trained by the Safety Commission is hero that we know of, has just grabbed her and all that stuff. So it's very possible that those two might converse about the Safety Commission, about and you know, she gets his respective feelings on the matter, and then like what they can do to, you know, change it for the better and all that stuff. So
the fact that the chapter ends with him saying "no dying on me" kind of gets me thinking, like, maybe she's not gonna die. Maybe.
Yeah. So yeah. It would be interesting to get like a hero turned villain, possibly turned villain, joining Midoriya's team kind of thing, but who knows? But yeah, overall, let's see. Overall, I think I'll give this chapter an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, originally I was gonna give it a 9, but then with again, it's a really, really good chapter, but like I said, it's all about like timing everything, and I think the way of when it happened, I'm like thinking, okay, there are some aspects I think happened a little too quickly and could have been held off until like future arcs and stuff, but overall, if it came to my own rating, I'd give it a great rating, maybe great plus if.
Fair enough.
Which a great to great plus would be around an 8 to 8.5 out of 10, relatively.
Let's see. But yeah, I'm giving it mostly an 8.5 out of 10, mostly due to the the flashback of looking into Overhaul's current psyche about how he's lost everything and just wants to see the boss. Midoriya's skill of using like his the Fargin quirk to make a few SpiderMan moves with both.
You know what?
See,
I got an idea.
One for All and Black Whips. What?
You know what? I got it. So it'll be a grade in terms of how the chapter was, and I'll give it a grade plus. I'll give it an extra plus for the Spider-Man references.
So yeah, some very good Spider-Man references with how they've used the quirks and all that stuff. I like to let's see, the fact that Midoriya doesn't even hesitate to save a villain, of course, all that stuff, and it's both former villain and even the villain he's fighting right now. And that it's with his words, he's able to seems to persuade her to go back to the good side, or just about to. But we also end up seeing a bit more of All for One's cruelty and all that stuff, and the fact that looks like he does have fail safes with his quirk. It seems he's able to make quirks he stole and give to others to explode. Granted, we're probably going to need a bit more explanation on this, but yeah. Let's see, but yeah. Oh, and Hawk's arriving at the end. Let's see, the only thing that stops me from giving this a 9, I guess, is the fact that I'm a bit disappointed. I was kind of hoping that we'd at least at least this fight last 2 more chapters, but oh well. Overall, I'm mostly satisfied with how this fight has ended, but yeah. The only question is, I think, Luckychi, do you think this, next chapter, or do you think this arc is ending soon, or you think it'll go on for a bit longer?
I don't know if it'll end next chapter. I give it 2 or 3 more chapters, give or take.
So you think it'll be
4, maybe 4.
Sorry, go on.
I said maybe 4 at the most. Maybe.
I mean, My Hero Academia arcs tend to not be too long, at least. I mean, granted, they've recently gone up to around 20 chapters or something on average. Yeah. But yeah, but they usually end up being at least 2 volumes, or at least 14 chapters or something like that. But yeah, mostly 2 volumes at most. But yeah.
Yeah.
Granted, if it ends next chapter, it'll be a volume's worth. But yeah, I assume they'll probably get a bit more. But with this fight now over, I assume that Midoriya probably needs to recover. Let's see, the heroes need to plan the next move, and I think we'll probably end up trying to see class 1. No, guess now class 2A at some point. But yeah,
1 2A. There we go.
But yeah, but there's also the stuff with Overhaul to deal with Midoriya and all that stuff. So yeah. Anyway, Luckychi, thank you for joining me for this chapter. I'm not sure if you're going to join me for the next one or not, but I guess we'll see what it is next week and all that stuff. Yeah. But granted, we have a podcast planned, I believe. So I gotta start reading those chapters again.
You and me both.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm Blue Star Saber.
I'm Luckychi.
And we're signing off. Plus Ultra, everyone.
Plus Ultra.
And we're done.